name is Konstantin Valkov. I'm 48 years old, journalist and a university lecturer. I organized last year the event How to Live to 100. It was a conference in Bulgaria, How to Live to 100, when I was 47 years old. And I was very certain back then that living to 100 years was a very decent option because I was a 47-year-old man, so there are more years ahead of me than years past. And I discovered that I made a huge mistake just before the conference because what I saw everywhere in the media world was that the goal about longevity issues was not to live to 100, but to live to 120 years, not 100. And my concept was therefore out of date already. As part of 10th edition of Delphi Economic Forum, I'm making another attempt to talk about the fight against aging. So I'm asking myself, what if we are able to live longer but in better health? A multi-billion-dollar quest, as we all know, as the longevity race is currently underway, driven by technological advancements, aging populations across the world, and huge investments from tech giants like Jeff Bezos, for example. Life expectancy has risen, but our health span, and this is very important, health span, the number of years we live without illness or disability, health span has not, leaving many people across the world with nearly 10-year gap. So these days, a lot of researchers want to learn more about the basic biology of aging and the state-of-the-art treatments that aim to reverse time. You know, you can see if something is trendy or not when you look at the jokes about it. Currently, there are only few jokes about longevity, which are good, and this is good as well. And many of them are darker and sarcastic, which is also good. Like many more things are coming in this area, probably. I'm joking, of course. But I like one of the jokes. It says like this: biohacking is this. You want to live to 120 years, and the truth is that you will actually spend the last 60 years of your life arguing with your smartwatch about your heart rate. So first of all, I would like to welcome our panelists here, and I will ask them to present them briefly, and then we will move further on. Good evening. Just with few questions, present yourself.
Dr. Roboti, gynecologist, obstetrician, and longevity doc.
Okay.
And I like that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Milena Georgieva, and I'm a professor in molecular biology and longevity medicine. And I'm the scientist in the panel and an expert in genetics and epigenetics, because obviously aging is not in our genes, but in the way we live.
I'm Zaritsa Dinkova, Chief Political Advisor in the European Parliament Committee of Sound Health Committee, former Minister of Tourism and former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. And my focus on longevity is how to design better policies, because it's a huge responsibility and challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you for the word. My name is Arkadi Sharkov. I'm a healthcare economist by my job, basically. I teach at Sofia University. I'm a PhD candidate there. I also was an advisor to a couple of governments in the healthcare field, especially in the Ministers of Health, in terms of health economic issues and how to fix the budget. And the budget for healthcare needs to be fixed on a daily basis, sadly, but it is what it is in order to achieve better health outcomes and, of course, longevity.
Okay,
so
I will start with you because you will live longer as women. My first question is about Arkadi. How do you, what excites you about longevity as an investment thing?
So, The latest trends in health economics, not only there but in healthcare, is a return on investment in life years spent in good health. As you said in the beginning, the disability-adjusted life years, no matter that the average expectancy of life is increasing, remain the same, especially when you speak about non-communicable diseases and the effects after COVID-19 pandemic, which unlocked certain conditions and also worsened some conditions in people with different types of illnesses. So for me, longevity means longer, but also healthier, because with the degenerative diseases that are now, people live longer. I mean, their bodies are healthier, but their minds start to deteriorate, which is a problem that still it's not fixed. There is still not a drug for Alzheimer's or for dementia. So this left untreated leads to bigger social costs, because the idea of health insurance, when you speak about healthcare overall, means that you get healthier or get, how should I say, in a jargon, fixed to go back to work and to be effective in the economic field. With degenerative diseases, you cannot do that. Those people cannot go back in the workforce, and people that care for them, their family or social workers, also don't have the right kind of added value to the economy, except, you know, indirect taxes like VAT, etc., in order to drive better outcomes for GDP. I know it sounds heartless, but this is how we economists calculate outcomes in GDP and, of course, in money. And at the end of the day, we need to be healthier in order to thrive and have a better quality of life.
Milena, Georgieva, to you, two short questions. The first one is, how important is the harm reduction in terms of achieving these goals about longevity? And the second one is, I was thinking, how do you address the ethical concerns relating to radical life extension?
Well, I'm going to start with the last one, because radical extension of life, there was a paper in Nature a couple of months ago, and mathematically it was calculated that a radical extension of life won't be possible. Luckily, there are no very big ethical questions at the moment. But what we want to change as paradigms here is not lifespan, but health span, and you already addressed this. So those years in which we are aged enough, but we are healthy and functional. And here, the harm reduction strategy is very important, because, as already said, science is very categorical in the way defining aging. It's a kind of interaction of our organism with the way we live, with our lifestyle habits, with every habits that we have, no matter whether they're healthy or they're harmful. And the harm reduction strategy here helps a lot, first, to identify those risk factors, to stratify their effect as a power on health span, and also to be able to reduce their harm by smart strategies that can bring the body to a healthier, longer health span. And it's not that much a technological or scientific problem, it's more policy-governed one, because we need to redefine the whole healthcare systems. We need to educate the population that what we do now will have impact not only on our health span, but also to the next generation. So harm reduction is very important in the sense of being healthy, of living healthy, of aging beautifully, and also healthily.
If you Roboti, to you, what excites you the most? What recent discovery in your field excites you the most?
In my field as gynecologist, this thing that excites me most is the knowledge that we have now that women have more Alzheimer's disease because of their hormonal imbalances and the estrogen drops. So it's so easy to correct in most of the women this disadvantage that it's something that already we have to do. It's not expensive, and just we have to have the education, like a medical system, to start to give healthy years in the women.
Zaritsa, Dinkova, my question is, how do you see your particular work impacting the longevity sector, let's say in 5 years' time? What will be the main changes in your work to be seen in 5 years' time that will impact the longevity sector?
I am actually very ambitious for our region. We are in Greece, and as a former Minister of Tourism, I think that we have to build like multi-destination, combined destinations, and that our region has a huge potential, huge economic potential to be put on the map and to be developed as not only international pension migration destination, but as longevity destination. We can offer a very interesting combined product with all the richness of Greece and Bulgaria. But you start with the storytelling, and you mentioned 5 years in the future from now. So I will also share a story. A couple of weeks ago, I had a dinner with a group of high-standing business people and medical doctors, all over 70. They mentioned their age, and suddenly the atmosphere started to feel a little bit like weird, tensed. So I said, oh, come on, the 70s are the new 50. And suddenly their postures straightened, their eyes started to glitter, and all the energy suddenly changed because of the changed vitality in their bodies. We have this baby boomer generation, which is the best invested, the strongest, the happiest, the wealthiest generation of our civilization. And we have this chance to build the longevity policies together with them. We really need to use it, because we need to use it now with a horizon of 50 years, really designing efficient and based on the scientific foresight and analysis policies with a lot of responsibility, because it's a matter of development of our civilization. It's our responsibility, and it's a chance to level it up or to leave it to plummet.
Okay, thank you to Arkadi. Do you think that the longevity sector will follow the same boom-bust cycle that we used to know in the tech sector?
So, if we include AI and the opportunities it gives us, of course, currently new antibiotics are, how should I say, starting to be developed, because, like, not yet developed, but starting to be developed, because it was a very economically infeasible area due to the price regulations, of course, due to patent regulations. So newer antibiotics arise. This also goes for new tech. When we speak about boom and bust, we should also take into account the situation that we are in. This forum speaks a lot on defense, resilience, stability in Europe, peace. But peace sometimes is achieved through arms and through security. So there is this guns versus butter debate. If we are to invest more into defense, what other areas are we going to stagnate? And healthcare typically, due to the peace dividend in the past 30 years, has risen as a spending as a percentage of GDP. But we are not sure that it will continue to rise with the same pace, with the same tempo, including the spending on healthcare during the COVID years, and speaking on resilient healthcare system, European health data space, and more DG HERA, which is currently under development in the European Commission. We're not sure that it's going to be the focus of companies. However, as I said at the beginning, AI gives us an easier apple to grasp. So low-hanging fruit that can be used in order to achieve better outcomes, of course, with lower, at a lower price, at a lower, and of course for a shorter time. So it depends. However, hopefully, in the next 10 years, probably we'll have achievements, especially in the field of harm reduction, in the field of vaccination. For instance, now currently vaccinations for HPV. In terms of also reduction in cancer deaths, and so there is a lot to be discussed, and not every good news that arises in the healthcare field, sadly I say, because it's not flashy as the other news are, goes viral, and there are a lot of things that are happening currently.
I understand.
And the last one is very interesting. There was if we speak about women's health and focus on problems that people weren't focusing in the past. For the past 2-3 years, many products, especially in the pharmaceutical field and also in other fields, has risen, and they are developed to enter the market. So this also is part of the longevity process. We're speaking about better health in not only physical but also mental conditions in order to achieve the end better and long, healthier outcomes.
To Milena, how close are we to meaningfully extending human health span, not just lifespan?
From a scientific perspective, we are already there, because we know all the molecular mechanisms that drive cellular aging. When we speak about novel interventions, we speak about cellular reprogramming. We speak about reprogramming of the cells to be younger, which is very important, and this is based on scientifically developed and proven strategies like hormonal replacement or optimization therapy, which is, as we spoke with Dr. Roboti, is a taboo topic in Bulgaria and in Greece at the moment, but in developed countries this is something that is regular. And this is also harm reduction of perimenopause and menopause. So this is again science. So scientifically we are here, and technologically as well, because you spoke with Arkadi about technological progress and the boost in tech companies. When we speak about the science, we speak about science technological boost in the longevity revolution, because we have the science, we have the technological means to be able to decipher the cellular aging in any sense, because when we speak about cellular aging, we do not speak only of the fact of staying young and healthy and beautiful, but also being able to prevent, to reduce the harm of age-related diseases, and those diseases are preventable. And yet, 7 of 10 people die because of those diseases. And yes, we prolong the lifespan, but again, we die from these preventable diseases, and here is science that should be implemented.
They die, you said. I have a question to the 4 of you, and then we will continue. How do you say, or what do you respond to the argument that death is a necessity for innovation, for progress, for even meaning?
Never anyone experienced something different, to be immortal, for knowing if he should be productive and with things to do, to change works, to change cultural thoughts, to change, to have the change something very vivid in his or her life. So how they dare to talk about that? So we are not there yet, but we can give to the population a good health span, a health span that should be near the lifespan. The second component of longevity have to be health span.
I understand.
And that it's not so difficult. It's the half of this, it's cost nothing. It's our lifestyle, our thinking about what is good for us, and it's surely good to take the health, our health in our hands. So to eat better, don't smoke, to gym, to exercise. And it's not something difficult to do that, because you can walk if you don't do something more. we have a population that is sitting in the sofa with the mobile in their hands, and they live the half of their lives there. It's not healthy, that.
Okay, your answer, Milena?
Well, we are in Greece, so let's focus on the philosophical point of view
Okay.
about that. So that and aging, those are processes that really frighten us, but it's because we don't know them, and this is the way we should redefine them. And when we speak about aging, that leads finally to that. This is a process that we can moderate. I don't say stop, because I'm a scientist and I'm very much into the field, but we can moderate, we can ameliorate. And by ameliorating, we can prolong our health span and being able to live slow and die fast. Maybe this is the meaning that we should put with all the interventions that we have to apply.
Zaritsa?
The dream for the eternal life, the quest for finding the elixir of youth, it was a very important topic and, let's say, drive for innovation for the generation for 1,000 years ago. It was usually motivated by greed, by desire for power, by like not really nice things, but now the motivation is changed because we are in a situation in which we have a demographic shift, structural demographic shift, and the motivation for resolving the problems with healthy lifespan is already a political issue. And in terms to age healthy, we need to grow healthy. So this is a matter of education. This is a matter of education, not only how to take care for our mental and physical health, but how to deal intergenerationally, how to fight ageism, how to be respectful, how to be more tolerant, how to be to understand and to communicate. It's also a matter how to fight the alienation, because the alienation is a silent killer of the mental and physical health, and it affects mainly the elderly, unfortunately. So the innovation sometimes is actually the best innovation. Sometimes is to recur to the traditions and to think, for example, how the Eastern societies deal with this problem with stronger family ties. There is an instrument for multi-generational travel actually now as a part of the concept of silver tourism. When grandparents and grandchildren, they can travel together and experience also educational practices like wine production, food production. All these innovations, they are a way to... The technology is a huge support, but it always has to serve human strategy first of all.
Okay, and to Arkadi, that as driving force for innovation. What do you think about that?
There was this joke that the birthday is 1 more year closer to dying. Sorry to make it. It's a dark joke, but I would rather focus not to be too puritanic in terms of stop drinking, stop smoking. There is the joke. A guy went to the doctor and asked how to live to 100. And the doctor says you have to stop smoking, to stop drinking, to stop unprotected sex, to stop red meats, to stop this, that. The guy, every time he heard something, he just like went that, until some point asked, but will I live to 100? And the doctor answered, you may live, but your life will seem to you very long. So it's like, in order not to sound very puritanic, but also to grasp the idea that, healthcare, it's never holding all other factors constant, certainly in this minute, meaning that there are forces around that drive spending in it. There are ways to enjoy life, of course, continuing drinking. It's people who like to smoke and continue to smoke, but with less harmful alternatives. For instance, Germany has differentiated taxation for alcohol, so beer and wine gets taxed less compared to alcoholic beverages. This also goes for tobacco, harmful alternatives, which are combustible tobacco products, are taxed more rather than the ones that are less harmful, the heated tobacco products, etc. So there are ways to continue enjoying life with less harmful alternatives and to be a happy and joyful person at the end, and not to be very much bored at some point in order for you to think.
About longevity medicine, how do we ensure as a society that longevity medicine doesn't become a luxury good and deepening the inequality in the world?
At some point, semaglutide, I wouldn't mention the name of the drug. Semaglutide became a luxury product for weight loss, of course. Of course, firstly it was developed for diabetes type 2. It became a luxury good due to, of course, how they call it, what's the word? You're very, I forgot the word, but I'll remember it. People like to see themselves appear good in front of other people. So I forgot the vanity, yes, vanity. It's about vanity at the end of the day. So for Europe, thankfully, we have regulation on drug prices, which at some point may be harmful, which means that this same drug compares prices to many other countries within the European Union, and the lowest one goes, for instance, for Bulgaria and for many other countries. So the price still is it's feasible for the patient. Of course, it depends compared to what. Currently, with the trade wars that are starting, stopping every day and every now and then. Every hour, of course, and with China being the biggest producers of active pharmaceutical ingredients, prices in the healthcare field, especially in pharmaceuticals, may rise, and at some point it may become a more luxurious good. However, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, all these countries which are partially on the Balkans have the opportunity and the economic advantage to get some of the production of active pharmaceutical ingredients on their sites. Why? Because this was the idea during COVID, in order to shorten the supply chain and to have the opportunity to produce your own drugs and to be secure in order to trade better with your neighbors. So we have the economic advantages, and we should, of course, use them, and the European Commission should take into account that the opportunities to produce cheaper drugs, relatively cheaper drugs at a faster pace, and of course at a shorter distance, is a better outcome rather than to leave it on third countries to do that.
And the same question to you, what are the dangers about longevity, tools, medicines, etc., treatments to become a luxury good?
Longevity in medicine does not mean luxury for the moment. Because if we have in mind the medicine that some very executive centers in US or in some capitals in Europe did, okay, it's a luxury. But in the everyday medicine that we'll do in our countries, in our hospitals, in our health care system, in our private clinics, it's the prevention medicine that I have to put our attention for having results in health span. So the most important thing is to educate our doctors to have the mentality of prevention. We have to prevent. We don't but we don't want to cure tumors. We want to prevent tumors. We don't want to cure the first heart attack. We want to prevent the first heart attack. We don't want to try and don't know nothing about how to treat dementia. We want to divert people for this path. That's the thing that is easy to start doing in our systems, medical systems.
Okay. Outside of this hall, when we talked about longevity, And we said to other delegates here at Delphi Forum that when we think about longevity in Bulgaria, we think about you, Milena. So I've always wanted to ask you something, personal question. What interventions, even a single one, or practices, even a single one, in longevity sector has had, how to say, the most noticeable effects on you personally?
The answer is very complex because aging is a very complicated, very intricate process that affects different cells differently, tissues, organs. Even in my body, different tissues and organs age differently. And there are clocks that can measure this, and there is no single intervention. Otherwise, we would have found the fountain of youth, and there would have been a Nobel Prize for combating aging. But at the moment, no. It's a complex process of the so-called modern approach in longevity medicine, because this was a term coined a couple of years ago, and it changed all the perception of geriatrics, because this is not a science or medicine for old people. This is prevention for people from very early age. Let's say even the moment you are born, you start aging, and this is a notion that we all have to know in order to identify the risk factors for our lifestyle, to stratify them, to be able to reduce the influence on the way we age in our individual life. And it's not about being puritanic, it's about living healthily but meaningfully, knowing that if you have a certain risk behavioral factor, if you reduce its harm, you can have a good impact for your longer health span. And here in the longevity medicine, it's very important to say that in modern biomedicine, and this is the medicine that applies all the modern technological advancements in science in clinical practice, we speak about the P4 medicine, and it is predictive, preventive, personalized, which is very important, and also proactive. And here we have to change the paradigms from acute cure of diseases and go to active prevention in order to be able to speak about extension of human lifespan and a very successful one like healthy aging.
Zaritsa, what's one belief about aging you've changed in your mind recently? A belief that you had years ago about aging, about growing old, fears probably about it, and you've changed your mind completely.
Yeah, fear of aging is something which I think every one of us has experienced in some time. It's very important to fight this fear of aging. It's not only about beauty, like the longevity is not only about beauty, it's not only about health, it's all the way of life, all the way we perceive and we see the world and each other. And with this regard, the technology, the social innovation, the health innovation, all of them, they need to go hand in hand. In Europe, the European social model is actually one of the pillars of the longevity. So we really need to reinvent it. We really need to innovate with it. And we really need to coordinate all these policies in terms of for the people not to be afraid to grow older. That's why I say that we need to have healthy growth. It's like healthy growth not only in terms of aging, but also in terms of economic development. And we need to design all these policies because many of us from the former socialist countries, we remember this shock after in the 90s when the generation of our grandparents who was working for 25 years, hard jobs, suddenly they were in a situation being paid like the alternative of 20 euro now. So with the shift of the demography now, we need to work not to allow this to happen again with the generation after generation of the boomers and after generation X, which is our generation. So it's going to be still with the, let's say, carrying the energy of the boomers, but after the coming generation, they need to be prepared. So this so is longevity, the quality of life.
Okay, we have 1 minute each. My final question is 1 minute each. My final question, we will start with Arkadi. Is there a longevity intervention currently that you think is overrated and longevity intervention that you think is deeply underrated? 1 minute, please.
Deeply underrated, good food. Good, high quality food. This is deeply underrated. There should be more focus. Some countries in the
Especially
European,
at the time of the day.
especially
when dinner is
today,
ahead of us.
some countries in the European Union have an advantage in that, in good climate, etc. But good food leads to healthier and longer lives. Food without any additional additives, which are
And overrated?
And overrated. I don't know. We spoke about vanity. We spoke about products that are you can lose weight. However, long-term effects are still uncertain in that, and vanity should be fair and shouldn't become unfair. So it's like, in that sense, pharmaceuticals are there to help. They are important. But first, let's start with prevention.
I understand. Zaritsa, to you? 1 minute, overrated and underrated.
For me, the overrated are really like the toast of vanity, only working on our appearance. Underrated are, I agree with Arkadi, and also I would say social interaction.
Okay, Milena?
I'm going to join with Arkadi and Zaritsa about social interaction and food, because as a scientist, I know the mechanisms that those factors drive longevity, because food is not only a source of energy, but it's also a source of information. It's very important for cellular reprogramming, and this is the epigenetics that comes from the Greek word epi and genetics. This is the makeup of our DNA that is due to the way we live. And very overrated is the beautification, because aging cannot be ameliorated from outside to inside. It goes backward. It goes from inside to outside, and any kind of beautification cannot make you younger, because you can look younger, but inside the biological age can be very much high, regardless the fact that you are not treating your body pretty well.
And to you, doctor.
Optimist outlive 15% from the pessimist. So this is underrated. And of course, the beautification industry, it's overrated.
Efi Roboti, Dr. Efi Roboti, Milena Georgieva, Zaritsa Dinkova, Arkadi Sharkov. Thank you, all of you.